On February 24th, the PECI Panthers won the CASA Championship for junior basketball for the first time in 21 years. It was also a remarkable achievement this year because the senior girls basketball team also won CASA. So I'm really pleased today to be sitting in PECI talking to two students from these teams, Brody Byford from the boys junior team, Vanessa Willis from the senior team, and Coach Rob Garden. Welcome to 99.3.
Thanks for having us.
Good to have you here. Rob Garden, coach of the teams, I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about how did it feel to win that CASA championship 22 years ago. You won it this year. How did it feel?
The monkey's off our back is the first thing that comes to mind. We've been trying to get this championship for the last 5 or 6 years with both the boys and girls teams, and for the first time, I think in school history, not only did we win a boys championship, but we've also done the double, so the girls and the boys. And I know for me personally, 21 years ago, being on those teams with Bill Latchford and Mick Chalmers, this was a pretty special thing to be able to pay it forward to these kids.
Which one felt better for you? Which one was more exciting, when you won it 21 years ago as a student or as a coach?
I think as a coach, I don't think you fully appreciate as a student what it is you've accomplished. I remember vividly sitting in the Nicholson gym winning that championship, but I know this time watching the kids, the work they put in, the amount of effort it takes to win the championship, I think as a coach it was much more special than as a player.
And I happened to be there 21 years ago to see it, and I was excited then, and when I saw it on February 24th, I was still excited. Vanessa, how did you feel about winning a CASA championship?
I felt awesome. It was really great. We put a lot of work in our senior team. We started practicing months before our season started, so to finally win that, it was a really great feeling.
Brody, how about you?
I think losing to St. T's in Bay Equity Finals, it really opened up our eyes and showed that we needed to put more work in. So turning around and beating them in the CASA championship was pretty fulfilling.
Well, what makes this even more remarkable in some ways, Rob, is the fact that PECI is quite a small school. It's really right now just over 500 students, and yet you've had remarkable success in both girls and boys basketball. What do you account for this success?
You know, I remember when we started this journey 7-8 years ago with the likes of Paige and Katrina Smith, and then we moved to the Taylor Reddick era. We'd go to tournaments and we would get beat 50 points. And the teams would look at us and think, you're just a small school from rural Ontario, you don't really have the right to be here. But it was through those learning pains that the kids started to get in the gym and they started to fall in love with the sport. And the more they played, the better they got. And then all of a sudden we started to win. We started to walk into the gym no matter where we were provincially, and teams didn't take us as serious as they should, and we beat them. And now these teams walk into the gyms no matter where they are, who they're playing, and we're a well-known program now. We're starting to beat teams all around the province. We're starting to compete locally and win. And that's really giving these kids the confidence that it doesn't matter where you're from. It just matters the work you put in, the skills you learn, and then the competition level, I think, drives them even further, that they're going off, and Vanessa's playing in Kingston now, Brody's playing for the County Clippers, so outside of school they're continuing to play, and that of course leads to greater individual skill sets and individual team success.
I think also that the commitment from the coaches has been a big factor. You've got quite a dedicated coaching staff.
Yeah, we've got a great crew. Ernie McMillan was instrumental over the past 10-12 years to continue to push the program forward. Now we've brought in Lindsay and Curtis Morrow, who coach and teach at Pinecrest, Caleb Hugh and Claire Davies, who are from Tyndonega. Caleb coaches at Loyalist, and they're really passionate about the game of basketball, but they're also really great leaders and great motivators for the young kids. And when you can build a core of coaches, that only translates to the athletes seeing the potential and the program flourishing.
I think also one of the factors that I've noticed is that they start playing basketball. You've got a program organized now where children start playing at a very young age.
Sure, and that's, you know, with anything, if you're not getting kids in early and they're not starting to just love and enjoy the game, it doesn't translate well at the older ages. So the County Clippers was a program that we started 7 years ago just to do that, get kids more involved with basketball. And this spring coming up, we have over 200 kids, grades kindergarten to grade 8, playing in our house league. And that is just a program to get the game introduced in a rural area and for them to fall in love and want to continue playing. And what it's also allowed us to do is start a rep program, which we run from grade 4 all the way now to grade 12. So before, where students had to go to Belleville or to Kingston, they can get the exact same programming at a very high level right here in Prince Edward County. And it's really helping our high school programs because the kids hit the ground running in grade 9, and we're ready to compete right from day one.
Brody Byford, how long have you been involved in basketball?
I think I started with the Clippers House League program when I was in grade 6. And then after that, I kind of I got into the Clippers rep program in grade 8.
And how about you, Vanessa?
I started playing with the County Clippers League in grade 5, and then I started playing rep basketball in grade 8, and I've been playing ever since.
So the common thread here, I would say, Rob, as you look at it, is that County Clippers program is really essential to what's happening here at PCI, the success.
Absolutely. We know from a high school program that without those kids learning how to play at the younger age groups, we wouldn't be accomplishing what we do. So we have a great relationship with the County Clippers. It's one of those symbiotic relationships where we both benefit. The high school students give back in terms of volunteer hours, and the young kids get that experience early on, and that helps when they get here.
So that's part of the program with County Clippers then, is that the high school students assist in running the County Clippers.
Yeah, it's a leadership opportunity for them. It's also a great way for our younger students coming through the feeder schools to see what is possible when they get here, and it's a great way to build a linkage between the two programs.
So Brody, you're now in grade 10,
Yes.
and tell me, what so far has been the highlight of your basketball career?
Coming into grade 9, we had a very strong team last year. We got a CASA silver medal, and so that was definitely a high point, being a first year. But coming into grade 10, we had a very strong team. You could tell right off the get-go, and winning CASA gold is definitely up there with one of my top accomplishments as a basketball player.
Well, and I think it was says something for your team and the strength of your team, because I know you did lose to St. Teresa in the Bay of Quinte, which was a heartbreaker for you guys, and you came back
Yes.
and won the championship. That was remarkable. Vanessa, tell me about your highlight. You're now in grade 12.
Yes.
What's your highlight of your years at PCI and the Clipper program?
Well, one of my highlights would definitely have to be playing basketball in Hawaii in our tournament. That was awesome, getting to play my favorite sport in an awesome place. And another one of my highlights is seeing how myself and my team are role models to the younger girls, because I remember when I was that age looking up to Paige and Katrina Smith and how I thought they were so inspirational, and now that we're some of those people to the younger girls, it's a really cool feeling.
And we should just let the listeners know. Rob, tell us about the trip to Hawaii. How'd that come about? The senior girls? Senior girls,
Yeah. So we had a pretty special group of kids and parents, and we knew 2 years ago that they would be sticking together. So we thought, let's try and do something special to reward them for their hard work, but also kind of generate some awareness for our program. And we said, where can we go to play a pretty fun tournament? And we threw around some ideas, maybe Florida, maybe the East Coast. And I said, why not Hawaii? And the parents kind of laughed and said, yeah, right. And we looked at it, and it became a possibility. So we took 40 people, 15 kids and their families to Hawaii, played 5 games against teams from Alaska, North Dakota, Los Angeles, and Hawaii. And it was, I think for them, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that they will never forget. And I know for me, it was definitely a highlight of my coaching career.
Well, I can't imagine there's too many students in the province of Ontario that have had that kind of opportunity. So that's all part of PCI Panther basketball. Brody, how much time do you spend on basketball a week? Any idea?
For school basketball, we practice 2 to 3 times a week sometimes, and with doing school basketball and Clippers, it's very time consuming. Sometimes you can be going 5 days a week.
How does it affect your studies?
You just got to keep up in class. Focus when you're focus on your schoolwork, and you gotta know it's all about your priorities. You want to make sure that you're caught up and your grades are up, and basketball is just a bonus to that.
Vanessa, I know that you're in your last year and you've done well academically. Do you feel the same way? You put basketball second to studies?
Yeah, definitely. Academics have to come first. And for me, I enjoy being busy because it makes me create time for my academics. So I always know I have enough time to do what I need to do for school.
What do you see in the future going forward? You're in grade 12. Are you going to continue to play basketball?
I definitely want to, since basketball is such a big part of my life now. It's something that I'm looking into. And after post-secondary, I would definitely love to coach.
Brody, how about you? You looking to play basketball beyond high school?
I definitely am, but first I think we have a little business to take care of, and I think that OFSA is definitely a big look in the future for us.
And OFSA, what we would remind our listeners, OFSA is the All-Ontario Championship.
Yes.
You won the Central Championship, Central Ontario, which is as far as juniors can go. But you would love to win an Ontario Championship,
We would, it's the plan.
which has never happened, I don't think.
No, the senior girls that Vanessa played on, they were the first team ever to make it to OFSA. And not only did they make it there, but they went and they won a game. So they far exceeded their expectations that they set out at the beginning of the year. So now these younger guys are actually looking up to the senior girls and saying, we want to take it to the next step and go and win a championship.
So let's talk about that going forward. Rob, what are you looking forward to in the coming year for PECI basketball?
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job of building some capacity here with our coaching staff. So we know going forward we're going to have some very strong leadership in our program. We also have a pretty good sense of who's coming up, given that the County Clippers are being really successful. So I think that it's that old adage that success breeds success. So these students now are currently setting the stage for the future generations, and those students coming through don't have to look elsewhere for a strong basketball program. It used to be that if you wanted to go and compete in this sport, you needed to go off to Nicholson or some other schools over the bridge, but that's not the case. So from my standpoint as a coach and as a teacher, I'm really excited that we can keep our kids here in the county and keep them playing at a really competitive level. And I see great things not only from the boys, but from the younger girls coming through. So the goal next year is to win a double CASA championship again and get both teams to OFSA, which you wouldn't have ever considered that 5-6 years ago from PECI, but it's not only a possibility now, I think it's becoming a reality that these kids are striving to achieve those high levels.
Well, it is truly a remarkable program, and as I said, considering the size of the school, it's been a great success. Parents, kids who want to get involved, who do they contact, who do they talk to?
So the best way to start is to get involved with the County Clippers program. They can go to our website, countyclippers.ca. There's opportunities there for house league programs, rep programs, spring, summer, and fall programs. So anytime a parent wants to get their kid involved in basketball, that's where we suggest they start. When a student comes to high school, there is absolutely no prerequisite that they've played in that program. We had a young player this year, Cooper Rogers, come into grade 9, never played Clippers at all, and ended up one of our best, most contributing players in that CASA final. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you get involved, but it is definitely an advantage. And then when they come to high school, they can just seek me out and we'll get them going however we can.
Coach Rob Garden, Brody Byford of the CASA winning Panthers for junior male basketball, Vanessa Willis from the senior team that won CASA, the senior girls team. It was such a pleasure to have you on 99.3, and I wish you all the success going forward.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
having us.